Good morning. Good morning. It is Freedom Friday. Romans 12:2. God says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. It says, when you do that, then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is. So that means when you are not conformed, when you're not entangled into the pattern of this world and how it acts, how it reacts, how it moves, right? And how it presents itself. Because when you look at a pattern, it's an example, it's a model that you're following. But every example and model is not always good. And so God is like, okay, you have value. I need you to understand your value so you could separate yourself from this pattern. This is not the pattern that I want you to follow, right? The pattern I want you to follow is the one that I have prescribed for you. And part of this prescription is out of Romans 12:2. It says, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Well, one of the ways that we can have transformation is if we empty our mind. Part of that is mental catharsis, right? The author of this book, The Power of Positive Thinking, he talks about this, but I looked it up a little bit more, and really it's just talking about how you are releasing your emotions. It's an emotional release. It's a need to relieve unconscious conflicts. That means stress over work. That means cause of frustration and tension by what's going on at work, right? This stress, this fear, this anxiety, this anger, this trauma, what causes this intense feeling, right? These difficulty things that are built over time. At some point, it feels like, so much pressure and so much emotion and turmoil that it becomes overwhelming. People feel like they're going to explode unless they find a way to release what is pent up, okay? And the thing about the renewing of the mind is when we have a successful release, it's accompanied by a cognitive insight and positive change. So when we empty out our mind, we're able to release the stress and the heaviness, and yet insight and change can come to our minds. Don't just empty out, though. Refill with what God has called you to have. Not the pattern of this world, but the pattern that He's designed for you. We talked about that, Philippians 4:8. You're thinking of this or you're thinking of that. What report do you believe in? So, are you going to be a victim or are you going to be a victor? Because today is Freedom Friday. Time to release. Love you. Have a good week.